First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. Welcome back. I am Greg Nibbler. As always, if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, thanks for joining us. If you're watching on the website or the app, you've been here the whole time, so thanks for that as well. Moving on, though, we are going to be talking right now to the one and only Eric G. from Around the House Northwest, who is with us, as always, every Thursday, most every Thursday, around 1:30 p.m. Eric joins us, always with great information, great topics, great things that can help you out at home or wherever it is, and great advice. And Eric, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, brother. Thanks for having me on again. It's always fun on a Thursday afternoon.
Indeed. And this advice, this topic that we want to cover today, I think is something that's important for everybody, and they may not always think about it. But I mean, how many times are you going around your house or your yard or somewhere and you realize, oh, my signal's not working? I know that I've certainly experienced that. Like your Wi-Fi signal just cuts out for some reason. You have a dead spot somewhere. Super frustrating. And I know you've got advice on how to handle that, how to get over that.
Well, you know, you think about it. You pay to have the service brought in. They find that one like coax cable or whatever place that's probably over there by your TV or by your home office. You plug it in and go, hey, modem's working. We're good. And that's just the beginning of planning to actually do this right within your home.
Yep, and it's absolutely something that I think everybody, no matter who you are, you've struggled with some of those things. You want it to just be nice and simple, plug and play, but it's not always that.
Well, and you've got to think about things around your house that are areas that cause like that blackout zone where you're like, wow, I don't have any coverage over here. Maybe it's that big fireplace. Maybe it's a laundry room that has a big piece of metal in it, like a washer and dryer. Your heating or cooling system, even your water heater can cause issues depending on where they're at in your house. So I really recommend people, you know, once you get the internet hooked up, get into a mesh Wi-Fi system. So that way you can have multiple points and you're broadcasting. So the more points you have, the less shadows you have and the better coverage you have inside. And now if you have security outside your house as well.
So for anybody who doesn't know, can you explain what a mesh network would be?
Yeah, so basically what it does is it creates other little, you know, modem points around your house. So they're kind of repeaters. So the signal will come in, it grabs it and kicks it back out again. And it's, you know, within a thousandth of a second. So there's no lag with that. But now you can get that full bars of Wi-Fi pretty much anywhere within your house. And it's depending on which one you get. You know, every year they're faster. So if you've got a system even that's 3 years old, it could be slower than your internet connection coming in.
Right. Yeah, that's true too. Just some things update so quickly. For a lot of people, you get your one router, or you know that you have, and you just have it stuck in that one room, and then this actually takes that and amplifies it. As Eric just said, it makes it so it's essentially you're getting those points all over the place. I mean, huge advantage with that.
Yeah, so if you've got the two-story house, you can have maybe downstairs by your TV where your main cable box comes in if you're using your cable provider. You can have that there, but then you can go to the other side of the house, maybe where the garage is, and have something out there. You could go upstairs where the bedrooms are, and then if you've got a blank spot, maybe on the back of a fireplace or in another room on the other side of the house, you can do that, and you've got great coverage around that way, especially if you want to be using it outside for maybe a TV out in your outdoor living space or whatever else. You can get it all the way out to the street and have like perfect Wi-Fi by just spending a couple $100 on a really high quality, at least a 6E system out there. That's one of the good ones to get as far as the latest or the newer technology, not even the latest technology. Because, you know, that's the one thing, Greg, that's big is that you think about what our Wi-Fi speeds were, you know, with just even cable came in. If you're getting it from your cable company, now they're, you know, 10 times that just as a basic. And so, you know, we used to have Cat 5 cable, then it's Cat 6, now it's up to like Cat 8. All those cable points going around your house, you got to think about upgrading the stuff as you go, because faster means you need to have higher quality cables as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, talking about, you know, just what you just mentioned of you know, if you want to have something outside. I know during COVID, that's when I discovered all the weak points in my house. Everybody's stuck at home, and I'm like, I don't want to sit just in this part of the house. I'm going to move around. And then realize, oh, my Wi-Fi doesn't work over here, or doesn't work out in the yard, and that's when I started discovering mesh networks and how to repeat that and really get the most out of it. Because, like you said, you're paying for it, so might as well get the most value that you can out of that. And so, for the devices you mentioned, you know, spending around $200 and getting that. Are there any specific devices that you would recommend?
You know, that mesh network is the first one. And then whenever you can hardwire those in, the better you're going to have. So I ran Cat 6 cable around my house last year. So I had it out in my office because I have in a garage, for instance, it's tough because you have insulation, you have an exterior wall that goes between that garage space and the house when it's attached. And so even an older house like mine that was built in the 70s, it has kind of an aluminum foil insulation that's in the wall that loves to mess with the signal. So by doing that mesh system, you can get around that and get it out to places in your house without it. But seriously, think about doing cable when you can. That is the best way, especially if you've got things that are like that television or some of these other smart devices that maybe you want to watch that 4K movie with. Why rely on the Wi-Fi when you can just plug it in and you'll always have a better connection if you can run some cable?
That is so true. Well, I imagine too, thinking about making sure that whether it's hardwiring it or actually just using the repeater and doing a mesh network, I would imagine that's really good for security devices too, which so many of us have, whether it's a smart light or a smart camera or smart whatever. This helps out a lot with that.
It does, because you think about it, some of these camera systems, if you don't have that high speed there, the lag, like you'll get a notification, you got to open up the app and you're waiting 25 seconds for it to open and get to the camera and stuff. If you don't have that high speed connection, that's where a problem is. And then one other tip with that too, and this is something that I've made a mistake with, I've got the cable company here supplying they do a great job. I got no complaints there. But I was getting some slow speeds out of them. So I went over to speed test, and did a speed test on my modem and went, wow, it's really slow. And I thought, it's evening. A lot of people are using it. Don't make that assumption. When it's acting slow, get a hold of your cable company or your provider to your internet service and start asking some questions. My problem was I had a squirrel that was up in the lines creating a problem. And so when it would get wet or we'd get a lot of usage, it would slow it down a little bit. And it was a quick, easy fix. But I went on with that for a couple of months thinking it was just, it's overused. No, it's designed to use. It was just a problem in the line that was Mother Nature working its way through it.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely something that's good to keep in mind too. Because like you mentioned, it's designed to be used. So if you're having an issue, and again, you're paying for it, so you might as well figure out where those are. Any other advice or recommendations you have for people?
Pay attention to what provider is giving you for your internet speed. If you're on a fiber optic, it's always pretty quick, but these people right now are in the internet wars of the providers out there. So whether you're using a Starlink with a satellite or you're using Comcast Xfinity or whoever your provider is, just make sure that you're paying attention to that bill and making sure too that you're getting the best price. Some of my advice that I give for people out there on the cost savings, get on there once a year and have a conversation with them and find out if you're getting the best price. Sometimes if you call them up and go, hey, I'm really thinking about changing to another company, all of a sudden they'll hit you with something that's 25 or 30% less. That can save you some money in a year.
Yeah, definitely paying attention to that. And also making sure nothing else is extra added in there or that's just a good idea in general, no matter what your bill is, just to watch out for that kind of thing. Well, great advice. Great advice, Eric.
And one more here too is restart that modem. Make sure you're doing that probably once a month. Make sure you're turning that thing off, unplugging it for a minute, let it sit there for a minute or two, plug it back in. That will also force updates and stuff with it as well. So you want to make sure that all those updates are happening on that. And if anything in your house needs updates, make sure you stay on top of that. Those are usually there for security and to make it work better. So stay on top of the updates, whether it's appliance, your TV, or whatever else. Stay on top of it so it's working as smoothly as possible.
Great advice. And speaking of updates, can we do an update on what's coming up on this week's Around the House Northwest?
We got a fun one. We went out to Miller Paint and watched them make paint. So they've been here in town since 1890. So we went out and watched them make latex paint for the inside or outside of your home, and took it from all the way from the powder all the way up to mixing up some color.
They've been here since the 1890s?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why I had no idea.
Yeah, they've been around, and so, which is cool. And then I actually did some furniture refinishing. So I went down to the Habitat for Humanity restore, bought a little table there to refinish, and went through and really gave it a nice update. So we do some furniture refinishing and some sanding and stuff and staining, and got that all dialed in, and really took something that was $28 and made it look a lot nicer.
Nice, and that's just a couple of parts here of Around the House Northwest. Any other teasers we can have for this week?
Yeah, one more. We went over to this super awesome furniture place called Altura Furniture, and they're just on Mississippi there, and they build some of the most beautiful furniture I've ever seen. This stuff, I'll be honest, in my 30 years, I have never seen woodworking at this level before. It was mind-blowing.
Wow. That says a lot.
Made me feel bad about my skills. Let's put it that way. Stunning.
Yeah, I mean, if that's for you in your career, that's some of the best. That says quite a bit right there.
Yeah, they had a table that was, I think, 16 feet long. You couldn't tell there was a seam in it, and they pulled it apart, and it transformed into 24 feet, I think, from that.
Dang. Okay, so that's...
Can't see the seams. Yeah, it was hidden in the grain. It was crazy.
And this is all something that everybody will get to see on this week's episode.
You got it. Plus, we got a lot of test its and a lot of pro tips as well. So we got a really wide-ranging show this week.
And as we always do, reminding people when and where they can watch this week and last week's episode, too.
Yeah, no problem. If you want to catch last week's episode, that will air tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., Fox 12 Plus. And then the brand new episode we were just talking about, that will air Saturday at 10 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus, re-air at 6 p.m. on Sunday. Then, of course, the following Friday at 8 a.m.
Perfect. Well, Eric, as always, thank you. And I want to remind everybody, too, so if you're watching live right now, don't forget that you can go, you can comment, you can leave questions, and actually, even if we're not live, whenever you're watching this, you can leave those on there. If you have a question for Eric, we'll get that to him. But also, you can watch a lot of the past segments, not only of him on here, but of Around the House Northwest, all on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel and on the app. So lots of places to go check all those out. And there's
a couple hundred of those.
Yeah, there's so many. Every week, there's so many more that get added on there. So there's tons of content and things to watch. I highly suggest going over there and just hitting play on that channel and checking everything out. So definitely do that. And also now, for those of you watching Fox 12 now, if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, after this is done, we're gonna sign off here. But we're gonna keep going on the website. So I've got more things that are gonna be happening on there. So that's a good time, good recommendation to head on over to the Fox 12 Oregon website, kptv.com, or download the app and keep that going. We're going to play a couple of videos, and then I'm going to come back on for another segment here coming up that's only going to be on there, so you don't want to miss that too. But I think that's it for now. Eric, as always, so good to see you, and thank you. And always looking forward to every time that you're on here and all the things. And seriously, everyone, follow this advice for the Wi-Fi. You may not even realize that you have problems, but this will solve them.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Thanks, Eric. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back soon.